What's up guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video we are going to be looking at my personal favorite Warlock exotic that I think Bungie might have unintentionally just stealth buffed, the Ophidian Aspect exotic gauntlet. For those of you that are not aware, Bungie just dropped a huge TWAB at the time of recording this video in which they were talking about the future of Destiny and the changes we can expect to see come into the sandbox in the upcoming Witch Queen expansion. The full "This Week at Bungie," or better known as TWAB, can be found in the description below. The general focus I got from the TWAB was Bungie's desire to shift away from the ability spamming metas we currently have towards a more gunplay focused Crucible, which I completely support. When I play Crucible, I like to take gunfights and not die to a hunter headbutting their own crystals, making me explode.
Only one enemy is left.
As you can see from the TWAB, many abilities have increased base cooldown rates. The term increased is actually found 36 times throughout this TWAB. Okay, so how does this affect the Ophidian Aspects in particular? Well, that's where the surplus perk comes into the conversation. Ever since aggressive frame shotguns got quick draw removed from them, many players used surplus rolls as a substitute on weapons such as the Felwinter's Light and Astral Horizon legendary shotgun. The reason surplus work for this is because surplus functions by granting you stat increases based on how many abilities you have ready to use or off cooldown. One of these stats was handling. So for one ability, surplus gave you 10 handling, 2 abilities granted you 25 handling, and 3 abilities gave you a huge 50 handling increase to your shotgun. As a result of the cooldown increases coming to Destiny 2, you'll have your abilities up less frequently, resulting in you benefiting from the handling increase from surplus far less often. This is where the Ophidian Aspects come in. I've been mainly using the Ophidian Aspects in Destiny 2 PvP when I play Warlock for quite some time now, irrelevant of what weapon I'm using. Let's take a look at why. The Ophidian Aspects exotic perk is Cobra Totemic. Weapons ready and reload very quickly, melee range is extended. I think this exotic is going to be incredibly strong moving forward for 2 reasons. The first of which I haven't really heard anyone talking about yet. This is about the melee portion of the Ophidian Aspects exotic perk. For those of you that don't know, Warlocks currently have longer melee range than Titans and Hunters by default on an uncharged melee. However, this is a trade-off for their slower melee speed. In the TWAB, Bungie talked about general Warlock melee changes. The range will be reduced to match the other 2 classes, but the speed will be increased to make it feel like Warlocks don't consistently lose their 2-hit melee fights due to the time it takes to throw a second slap. I think this increased melee speed alongside Ophidian Aspects increasing melee range will be giving Warlocks the advantage when it comes to straight up uncharged melee fights, as they will soon have the same melee speed and increased range when using the exotic glove. Also, keep in mind, melee cooldowns haven't been increased quite as much as grenade ones. However, many are still being increased, therefore you have a charged melee up less often. These things all play a part in making the Ophidians the clear go-to for Warlocks in high-end PvP. Now back to the main point. Let's get into the handling conversation. As I'm sure you can imagine, with surplus being less of a factor, the weapons ready very quickly part of the Ophidians is incredibly effective. Having a fast weapon swap speed is essential at high-level PvP and makes a huge difference. Irrelevant if you're using a sniper, shotgun, fusion rifle, it really doesn't matter. Having a faster swap speed is always a huge benefit in PvP. For the sake of this conversation, we'll use shotguns as an example. Note that we're talking about pellet shotguns, not slugs, as they do function very differently. Aggressive frame shotguns are still the best shotguns in the game when it comes to raw, one-hit kill capability. This is largely due to the impact stat, and therefore the pellets doing more damage, even if it doesn't have more range. This also allows you to shotgun melee guardians from their super far more often, as the shotgun is dealing more damage, making a huge difference when the enemy super has some damage resistance behind it. However, the main issue with aggressive frames since quick draw got removed is the handling, a horrible swap speed. I'll demonstrate this now and the difference Ophidians make to this sluggish swap speed animation. When I play Warlock, I personally use a Felwinter's Light with slide shot instead of surplus due to the Ophidian Aspects not making me need any handling perks. I think the Felwinter's is a great shotgun to use as an example for this because it has a set roll, including shot package, making it arguably the best shotgun in the game as long as you're using Ophidians to give you that quick draw swap speed. Felwinter's rolls with full choke and accurized rounds, giving it no additional handling over the 33 base handling that it's got. To explain my point, we're going to use slide shot instead of surplus and compare the swap speeds with and without Ophidians. As you can see, it's a night and day difference. You're effectively getting lightweight frame shotguns with quick draw handling speeds and the damage and range of an aggressive frame with full choke and shot package. It is all positives and no negatives in my opinion. all of the things we've mentioned so far, alongside the fact that Warlock's most popular subclass, Top Tree Dawnblade, got away from these TWAB nerfs pretty much scot-free, I think this is definitely a loadout you'll want to keep your eye on, try out, and one that I personally see myself playing on whenever I'm playing competitive Crucible and endgame PvP like Trials of Osiris on my Warlock. That's right, in my opinion, we are still going to be in a Top Tree Dawnblade dominant meta. Warlocks have other incredibly strong choices in the top and bottom tree Stormcaller trees, and even top tree Dawnblade. I want to note quickly that a very similar argument can be made for the Hunter's Dragon Shadow exotic. However, that requires you to sacrifice Stompies, and everyone knows that the Stompies stay on at all times for us Jumpy boys. More importantly than personal preference, Hunters have received a base dodge cooldown increase, meaning your Dragon Shadow perk uptime will be less than it is in the current Sandbox, which in my opinion is far, far less valuable than the constant 100% consistent uptime that's granted by the Ophidian Aspects. Plus, Rifts are overpowered. Fight me if you disagree. In my opinion, these ability changes are great for the game. We do really need to shift back to a weapon-dominant meta with abilities be on the back burner, just complementing the sweet, sweet gunplay we have in Destiny. The only slight criticism I can see from this is that I can't help but think that the other picks that are constantly improving play will be more popular than ever, if that's even possible. Common examples of these are like the Stompies, One-Eyed Mask, Dune Marcher, Transversive Step, and then of course the Ophidian Aspects. These exotics are already incredibly popular options, and I think will continue to increase in their pick rate. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. This is very different to my usual live commentary style of content, and it does take a much longer time to create. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to drop a like on the video to let me know, and drop a comment saying that you do like these more in-depth talks like this, these opinion pieces, or just say, no PvP man, go back to clicking heads and gameplay. My main goal genuinely is to create the content that you guys want to see, and keep an eye out for the 1v3 trials being back on the menu soon. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I'll catch you on the next one.